प्रपंचमातापितरौ प्राञ्चौ गानापति स्तुमः। ओम नमो भगवते वेंकटेशाय। It's a good fortune to be in the presence of esteemed scholars and share our thoughts on this sacred platform provided by Shri Venkateshwara Veda Vishwavidyalaya, and I'm indeed thankful for all those scholars and organizers for making this happen. Prior to this conference, we had a very good opportunity to share our minds in the Executive Council meeting of Shri Venkateshwara Vishwavidyalaya. So this conference happens to be an afterthought and a follow-up of that meeting. Therefore, I would like to present my views about the applicability of Vedic traditions and the knowledge arising out of it. What are the solutions from Vedic philosophy and traditions to the societal problems? That is one aspect that I would like to deal in this presentation. The quotient of solutions from Vedic traditions. Please go to the next slide. There are 4 types broadly categorized. Now, there have been fundamental research on various aspects which we call as pure science, which is mostly of theoretical knowledge, and needless to say, most of our scientific understanding is totally based on the Western research and their understanding, and we are also continuing our research based on the understanding and perception of the Western scientists. And there are very few points of divergence, but most of our aspects are aligning with them. I am talking about the current century's progression, about the pure sciences. In this part, if we come across many differences in Veda, that would be almost of heritage value. If someone says, I had seen this, we can say that, okay, this is also mentioned in Veda. This is also mentioned in Veda. But what is the exact value, physical value in this current day's contemporary society from those Veda mantras or the understanding of it? That needs to be deliberated. The second option is the applied sciences. Here we have got the traditions of Veda are, I don't say outdated, but they are part of contemporary society. So if I have some problem in my mobile phone or the air conditioner, I can't look to the Vedic texts to fix this. So therefore, we don't say it has no value, but we say that it has minimal value. The third aspect of sciences is social sciences. We have intrinsic value of the Vedic verses and Vedic texts in the third part. And the health sciences are the next part where we can add definitely much value. And the core values are very, very important. What are these core values? How to manage ourselves. Suppose let us say that there is not much air conditioning working here. And how do you manage yourself? That would be the question. And what does Veda say about it? Shitoshna samadukeshu. If you know how to condition your body based on the atmospheric conditions, then you would find a way to condition your body. Once you have the body condition maintained, then you will not feel suffocated and you won't feel the consternation. That is one way of applying the core values of Veda to our daily life. That is how we can definitely add value. Now let me elaborate our idea of these problem solutions. Pollution is, needless to say, it is one of the most acute problems of the society. This pollution is called as pradushana in Hindi. In Telugu and Kannada we call it as kalusha or kalushya. Kalusha's bhava kalushyam. So contaminating something is called the pradushana, all these things. Now, how is this contamination happening? It is by our consumption-driven economies. You consume more, there will be more product. That is how the prosperity would be there. Let me give an example. Most of the parameters are said that if you have more consumption of the electricity, or if you sell more number of petrol vehicles or diesel vehicles, now we have the EV electrical vehicle concept. The more you consume, you will deem that the economy is progressive. So therefore, we are actually spending more than our means. That is one problem. The second is the wastage of the unused materials. That is the second problem. The third one is the how do you treat the used materials? That is disposal part. And this fourth one is environment degradation. So for all these said problems, we have one solution from the Vedas, that is called the accountability. Accountability for each of the resources. And how does it happen? Let me give one very small example. The first book of the Yajurveda starts with that. Ishe Vorje Vada. How do you use this mantra? Ishe Veke Shakha Vachkanti. Urje Veke Sarvamajiti says Bodhana. Ishe Veke Shakha Vachkanti. Who is exactly being addressed here? The tree, supposed to be insignificant, physical object is being addressed. Asmabihi ajam vrikshaha prashaha abhidhiyate Vishayatva tva he shakhe athava he vriksha tva tvam achirapmi. I am amplificating a part of you for the sake of our nourishment. That is the literal meaning of this thing. Once you assume that everything that is in your vicinity belongs to you, you will have the urge and you will have the temptation to usurp everything in your vicinity. Suppose if I like a vehicle, that's something like the Gunda Raj. If you like a vehicle, just take it. You can just steal it. You can just hijack something. So, when we limit this to the physical elements, that is true. But most of us indulge in the same pattern. Without any accountability, we take away all the natural resources the way we like. Suppose if I want to build a building, I will just amputate all the trees. I will uproot everything. We will drive away all the creatures around it. So the ancient practice of Sarpabalik Prayoga exactly rests on this thing. You will take at every monsoon you are supposed to conduct a Sarpabalik Prayoga. It starts from the Shravan Masa. Debhya imam baliyum harishyami, debhya imam balimaharusham. So this is one way of being accountable to every creature around you. The second example in the next verse is also very simple. The first one is the Parasha Vriksha. The second one is the Apyagathvam Adhigaha Devabhagam. We are urging the cows to give more yield. So they are also sentient. So our prayers and our requests are addressed to them. The second one is Barihira, Barihischera. To get your darbha grass for all the rituals, you need to again cut the kandas of the darbha. For again, you are taking the permission. Barihihi, Devasadaram, Dati. You are actually taking permission for it. So whenever you cut something, whenever you take a part of it, be sure that it would regrow. Without the prospect of regrowth, never do annihilation, never totally uproot something. That is the second one. So that is the reason we have got Alava, Pravarshati. So lava is the leftover kanda of all the darbhas. Kusha is the upper part which is cut.
तर्हि तत्र केवलम् आमुक्षा क्रियते तदनु परिहारः कश्चन सिद्ध्यते इत्यत्र निर्माणं वाक्यात् बहिर्देव सदनं दामि इति वर्तते तत्र केवलम् अस्माभिः प्रार्थ्यते अथवा तदर्थम् अन्यत्किमपि क्रियते इत्यत्र निर्माणम्
अन्यत्रापि करणीयस्य तत्र आवश्यकता न वर्तते किन्तु तत्र नदीप्रवाहस्थले स्वयमेव कूले एते वर्धन्त एव. So whenever you take out a resource from the nature, always ensure that there is prospect of regrowth. So that is the reason Acheta, Marisham and the Parvasu, Parmadichanati. So wherever there is a juncture, you only cut there so that it causes minimal pain to the Darbhakanda. Now it is scientifically proven that the trees and the plants, they experience extreme agony and pain when they are cut, and they also express it. And now they have the scientific apparatus to measure the pain and their feelings also. Therefore, it cannot be said that it's only your imagination. We can never say this. And Vedas have properly and accurately they have measured this. And whenever you are the cause of a destruction, so it is natural for you to undergo the punishment for it. And that sense of guilt, once it is established, you have the safe hands. The nature is in the safe hands. How do you know? Because Sahasra Valasha Vajamuruhema Deva Varihishata Valasham Viroha. I have taken a small part of your growth, but be again robust. And we want 100 times this growth. That is our sincere wish. And due to this amputation, let my family not suffer. Because once you are the cause of a destruction, that sin will have some ill effect. So naturally there will not be progeny, or the progeny might get some sort of sickness. So Sahasra Varashaha me Vajamuruhema. So this sense of guilt will make you accountable. So that's why I say that we will have the accountability which will address all these four problems. That is how Veda and Vedic practices and the Veda mantras and the philosophy would help the country and the world. That is one perception. And now we are going to the next part. This is actually even more interesting. I have an esteemed colleague from IIT Mumbai, which was in the wrong reason recently in the news. What was that for? 50% of the alumni did not get jobs. And that is the same question in the IIM Kozhikode and IIT Palakkad, Jammu. Most of the 50%, more than 50% of the graduates, which are supposed to be the topmost institutes, their jobs are not secure and they do not do this. And let me expand this analogy. We have number of Vedic graduates. At least say there were 600 or 500 posts from the TTT welfare scheme, and we have received more than 5,000 to 6,000 applications. If you take this further, all the government positions where the job is secure, we have got 1:10, 1:50, 1:100. This is the ratio that we are getting. That means the employment is very active. Unemployment is active. And if you take the figures of the International Labour Organization, ILO, it speaks that most of the 2/3 of the Indian population in the age group of 15 to 29, in the employable age, they are not able to find their first employment. So this is the acute shortage of labor. And we have, ultimately we have the labor shortage also. Just go to any place in South India or in the Northern India, we have very few communities working in the construction field, in the mechanical field, in the factory manufacturing side. So most of these people are not finding employment. So what does it imply? There is acute unemployment and there is acute labor shortage. So the mismatch between two things are evident everywhere. And what is the solution from Veda? Now we should understand how many Purohitas, because we are related to the Vedic this thing. I will ask a fundamental question. How many are willing to undertake your family tradition as a Purohita for your village? We have minimum less than 0. No one wants to stay in village because we say that there is very little opportunity, economic opportunities. Then what do? You migrate to a city. That is how the urbanization is happening. With reference to the questions and points raised by our esteemed speaker, Prasad Gokhale, I will talk to the problem of water resources here exactly. Now we say everywhere conserve water, it's very scarce. And we have very few Vedic sentences and mantras which are talking about it. Very, very few. I will say almost nil. They always ask you to revere the water sources, but they never say conserve the water. Why? The answer is in the problem of invention and discovery. What did we invent? We have invented the concept of running water. Once you have started the running water, what has happened? Water has become very cheap. It is coming free of cost, free of effort, human effort. It is coming to you. In the ages of your mother or your grandmother, when they were drawing water from the wells, each kalasha, each jalapatram that was accountable for this. For this song, I need 10 kalashas of water. Now we don't have that accountability. You have money, so you can spend water as you like. There is no one to ask. And the flushing system is actually causing even more problem. The vertical problem, vertical development has caused innumerable stories, innumerable flows. So to pump the water, you require more energy, and to dispense it, you require even more energy. All the major cities of our country have the same problem of garbage disposal and drainage sewage problems. They were not there in the ages of Rama and Krishna. How did they all of a sudden happening in this century? These paid and these employed treat them with respect and double their remuneration and their receivables. That is one way of treating this problem of employment along with Shreyan Swadharma Vimunaha. Stick to your Swadharma. This is the two-pronged mode to contain the problem of unemployment. This is how Veda would address your problem. Now, the third perception problem, I will explain about it. This is the problem of inequality and untouchability. Inequality and untouchability. Societal perception. Now we have been listening to the words of saying that wealth has to be redistributed. If Ram Subramanian gets 100 rupees, I should also get 200 rupees. So what should I do? I should actually take his money and put it in my job. That is one way of radical thinking, which is not the way of how Vedas think. The class discrimination it is supposed to be there in the Vedas, but it is not the actual case. The class discrimination and the societal perception. I have very little time, but it's a very vast subject. We have hundreds and thousands of references which actually demystifies the entire concept and asserting the rights of other species and classes. That's also very well. And most important, the fourth one is Gurudhu Abhikankshayam. Gartha means hoarding. Hoarding of all the resources. These are the four things which are the bane of the society. And the Vedic core values would help you understand this. How do we do this? By inculcating these values in the curriculum across schools, not when they are in the universities, but from these moral lessons have to be started in the basic elementary school levels. So therefore, accept basic rights of others. Accept basic rights of others. Once you accept their rights, then you have lesser tendency to disrupt them. And finally, adopt sustainable lifestyle. That's very, very important. And the sustainability can be reflected in 5 points. With this, I will conclude by these things. Empathy towards sentient living creatures. Chittavat kartakeshu jiveshu tatra atma sahanubhuti anubhava. Number 1. Empathy towards all the creatures which are in your vicinity. And amass wealth, there is no wrong. बहुत पैसा कमा लो, इसमें कोई गलती नहीं है, लेकिन amass wealth for charity. Number 2. See, amassing this wealth is not limited to physical materialistic money, but it also amounts to your education. Get as many resources of education as possible so that you will be a very good teacher and you will set a very good example. And the third one is plan your retirement perfectly instead of indulging till the last breath. If you want to extend your speed without any pause or interruption, then you would be a stumbling block for the next generations. So always plan for your retirement and quit these worldly activities at the opportune time, because very few people talk about it. The fourth one is have some self-esteem with the concept of Brahmasmi. Brahmasmi Vibhavita said Acharya. What does it mean? It is not like other Abrahamic religions. When you are made to feel inferior, Papoham, Nikrishtoham, that's not a good concept. Aham Sarvavyapaka Brahma. Sarvavyapakam Brahma Aham Asmi. So that is the way of improving yourself in the esteem. So this has nothing to do with your position or your class or your caste or whatever you call it. Everyone is the Brahma. That is what the Vedas and Upanishads say. What else can you say? When you regard the divinity as the highest and you align with this, then you are also part of the divinity. That is one way of improving your self-esteem. And finally, get these philosophical tendencies from the time when you want to accumulate and acquire more and more acquisitions. And Jagan Vidhyatmavada, in a way that helps. Because whatever you Drishyam and Nashyam, it is not that you should start it from the 70th year or 80th year. Whenever you purchase something, you would always should be prepared to think that, okay, suppose you are purchasing a mobile phone, a new state-of-the-art mobile phone. Yad Drishyam Tad Nashyam, this will go away when a new version comes, and this is not the best anyway. Once you make this determination in your mind, there will be scope for lesser consternation and you will be lesser disgusted. So that is how you should prepare your life. Therefore, with the philosophy and the practices of Veda, we will be in a better position to lead our lives, and also we will help others who are living around, and we don't make others' lives difficult because of our egos or our ambitions. So that is what Veda teaches us. Mangalam Mahat Swasti Prajanabhya.